Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Power Trip Morning Show.
God, that was a fun break.
What'd you guys talk about?
You know how like when Tommy's here on Thursdays, it's always like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
That's most of the commercial breaks. That was just a real good rip session on somebody we hadn't ripped in a while.
Oh,
but then we just played all the hits.
But I wasn't in there.
No, it's not.
No, it's not you.
It's not related to you.
Okay, good.
You've heard every story we just said.
Yeah, you would agree with all of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God, yeah.
I bet I know who it was then.
Hey, well, how about this? The walk off at the end with Sauce goes, I'm glad that guy's life fell apart.
Wow.
So we don't even, and all of us were like, yeah, that guy sucked. So it didn't even, that's how fun it was. It wasn't even.
You know what's weird about you saying that? I know exactly who you're talking
Exactly.
about. Just by you saying those words.
Exactly.
Do you really?
I do.
You've already figured it out.
I do. I'm going to turn off my mic and say it, okay?
Oh, wait.
Okay. Oh,
Make sure.
yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm going to write it on this piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's
there we
play a
go.
match game. Yeah, the cameras aren't on yet. Let's see if you can guess.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, I see him writing it.
He already has it? Mm-hmm. You nailed it.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I knew it.
I've never
Unbelievable.
heard
Isn't
a
that weird?
single positive word about that man.
No.
Like, not one single positive word.
You would have to ask, I think, a very select group of people. The rest of us are on that team.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Anyway,
Sounds like the worst.
I'm glad that guy's life fell apart. That's the title of the podcast, Zach. If you're listening, I'm glad that guy's life fell apart. It is. Hi, Zach. Jesus.
Zachy.
My God, dude, you need to come in and say hi when you get here.
Yeah, I never
don't
know
even
when he's
you're back
here.
there.
Yeah.
And
Just
now,
emerged.
Now I don't even. We've talked about this. I don't know why it is. I don't even have to have his pod turned up on the board.
The new board, he's
It's
just
the weirdest
automatically
thing, yeah.
going.
Yeah, he's automatic for the people is what he is.
Fantastic.
Hey, I don't know why Fawn sent me this, but it must be good. This is. Do you guys want to hear audio of Finch getting thrown out last night?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he got
sure.
thrown out. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
the third quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
Finds the flight was
Hold on, that's not it. That is.
Whoa.
Sorry, let me turn that off because I was reading about for my news about the airplane stuff, and Zach was here.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the latest?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
And now a technical foul on Chris Finch. Oh, and C.J. Washington just tossed him. Those two have a history going back. It's the first time in Chris Finch's career he's been ejected from a game. Whoa. And Chris Finch is hot. He's held up back by Edwards and by Conley. Now he walks back to the Timberwolves locker room.
What was he mad about?
Both times he argued with the refs. It was about Jaden McDaniels' fouls, if I can remember correctly. He
His
was.
birds?
Yeah, he's super mad. He was mad at Glenn Taylor over the chicken thing.
Yeah, he roasted him alive.
There was one point early on in the game where Ant went up towards the basket and somebody came down on his arm and then somebody hit him across the face and there was no foul called.
What is it,
and
big
that's
time
what
wrestling?
That's what started it. And
Yeah.
he was just pissed that, Durant barely gets touched and it's a foul and Ant gets thrown to the ground and they're like, whatever. And it is a little bit of Ant complains after every single call.
Yes.
But on that one, he was right about it. A foul should have been called.
Yeah, it was rare to see that kind of fire from Finchy. I mean, that was really rare. But the Wolves kind of made their run after he got ejected. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Did it actually help the vibe of the team?
The third quarter, that's when they started making their run. And then fourth quarter, Nikhil Alexander-Walker kind of just took over and led them to the promised land. So, yeah, I think it kind of worked.
Is it surprising that he'd never been tossed from a game before? That seems like
It is. I am a little surprised
Yes,
about
same.
that. It is obviously rare. Like when I saw that he got ejected, I was thinking I can't recall when he ever got ejected before, but I didn't think that was the first time. Yeah.
Zach, are you a little surprised Chris Finch has never been tossed?
I mean, it must. I'm happy it finally came around.
Whoa.
I got Ben to put his head on the desk.
I think Ben is suffering from a brain bleed right now. I think he's had too much.
Poor Ben.
He's just had too much.
All right, it's time for the news with Christopher
Leave Finchy
Allen.
alone, guys.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by Carboni's Pizzeria.
New opens, I like it.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like Miami Vice vibes.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm capable
It's a
of
little-
doing a news report that measures up to this.
It's a little Christmassy in the beginning. Play it one more time.
No.
Please.
Kind of feels like a little Teen Wolf.
It's a little Christmassy in the beginning.
Yeah.
Airwolf is good.
Listen to the beginning. It's very Christmas.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by Carboni's Pizzeria.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And again,
Now it sounds a little
I am
bit like
so
Savage Garden.
surprised
Yes. Oh,
that
Savage
Siberia
Garden.
is so progressive.
know that.
Yeah, brilliant. Savage Garden Wail.
No, they don't.
Yes, they had two great songs.
I hope your life falls apart.
No,
Savage Garden
again?
No, you don't.
No, not again.
No, you don't.
I can't go through that again.
Brilliant.
Chris can't go through that again. Oh man.
Hi, Ben.
All right, time for the news.
All right, we're going to get
Thanks,
serious
Carbonies.
now. Yeah, thanks, Carbonies. We love you. This is serious stuff, though. This is real bad. The latest from the Arlington, Virginia area. Nearly 30 bodies have been pulled from the Potomac River after last night's collision between a passenger plane and a military helicopter near Washington, D.C., according to local NBC affiliate WRC-TV. Adam Tuss reports that many dozens of emergency personnel are lining the Potomac River.
We've also seen crews with boats going up and down the water, helicopters overhead, looking for wreckage from the plane and the helicopter, and this search extends up and down the river.
The plane, operated by American Airlines subsidiary, was traveling to Ronald Reagan National Airport from Wichita, Kansas. There were 64 people on the plane, 3 on the Black Hawk helicopter. A massive search and rescue effort was initiated with boats scouring the frigid water for bodies and any survivors throughout the night. A temporary morgue has been set up in D.C. to receive the remains. Officials have said they don't believe there are any survivor. Here's additional audio from Mr. Tuss.
There's really only one main runway that gets used here at Reagan National Airport on a daily basis, on an often basis. But this plane was coming in on a different trajectory on a smaller runway. Still many, many more details to figure out.
I'm confused. I'm sorry. And help me out, Zacho. Is that not the main airport in D.C.?
It's a smaller one. I think is it Dulles? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that is right. That's right. That's, yeah. Okay, that's right.
But yeah, it's one. I guess they have a couple. They have, obviously, as you heard, the smaller runway for the smaller jets, like the one that crashed. But it's very tight airspace. When you fly out of Reagan, you basically have to bank right away to avoid like the Pentagon and avoid like other obstacles. The flight path is one of the prettiest because you actually fly usually down the river there, and you fly past all the landmarks. But it is very tight airspace, and just
I have a memory of another plane crash in the Potomac when I was a young man. Does that ring a bell?
1983.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, CNN has it at the
82.
final paragraph of their story about this one. Said it's eerily similar.
In 1982 in Air Florida, Boeing 737.
Yeah. That makes. I was 12 years old, so yeah, that makes sense.
Man, 74 fatalities in that, but there were 5 survivors. Unlike.
Yeah. Doesn't this sound like one of those things where they're going to be like, yeah, we probably should have shut down this airport a while ago. There's too much traffic here.
I mean, what we've learned so far is that it was a training flight
for the
helicopter,
Yeah, right.
and they were. I mean, it's going to be. There's obviously a long investigation, but the question is, how much of it was the fact that it was a training flight? How much do they give priority to the military when they're flying in, approach areas and just around that airport in general? Like, you'd think you'd be even on a higher alert. So a lot of questions will be answered in the coming months, but it's just a very frustrating video to watch, a frustrating story to read because it just seemed so damn preventable.
And that is the curse and the blessing of this modern society is there's all kinds of video out there. There's all kinds of video out there. Have you seen any of it yet, Zacho?
Yeah, the Earth Cam, the Dash Cam. There's it's just it's horrifying, and obviously it's just hard because it's I guess not the greatest location for an airport, but it serves a very big purpose, and Dulles can't handle all of that traffic. I when I flew in there, it's very small, it's very basic. You get off the gate, you get out of the airport, and you're gone. But a lot of questions to be answered here in terms of how, with the fact that it's the giant Black Hawk helicopter. You guys have all flown in one, I believe, and how 3 people just can cause so much chaos.
And it sounds like I don't want to put like bad information out there, but it seems like the airplane was doing what it was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
You know, it was on the flight path that air traffic control said, like, this is yours. You have priority. And it just, at least the one video you see the Black Hawk just flying as if it doesn't even see it at all. Like, doesn't even, like, oblivious to the fact that it's like right in, it's going to intersect with this plane. So it seems like right now that the military pilot was at fault.
Well, and the air traffic control audio kind of, I mean, if we had to paint a picture based on the information we have right now, the air traffic control person, radioed the pilot of the helicopter saying, go behind that jet. And before that, too, also asked if they saw the jet. The pilot said yes. They said, go behind the jet. And obviously that didn't happen. So there's just, there might be some blame on air traffic control. There might be some blame on the helicopter pilot. I have a hard time, based on the information we have at the moment, placing much blame on the jet, because as you mentioned, it was lined up with the runway, and that helicopter was in the blind spot. Because again, as I mentioned, you have to bank kind of funny when you go into Reagan National Airport, and that was, it was banking toward the left, and the helicopter came from the right. And so if you imagine, your blind spot in a car or your blind spot in a plane, it's 1,000 times worse. And I don't know how the helicopter didn't see the plane, but I guess that's how it happened.
Right. It's a training flight, right? I mean, who knows, right?
Right.
But I just was reading this too. Several members of the figure skating community were passengers on the jet. U.S. Figure Skating confirmed in a statement to CNN 2 world champion Russian figure skaters were aboard the passenger plane.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I guess they had like the big championships or something in Wichita. So there's coaches and figure skaters on the flight back to D.C., but I guess they're withholding, obviously withholding names right now.
And there's, this is a ridiculous thing to say, considering we've been talking about this for 10 minutes now, but to take it a step even sadder, more tragic, there were people in their car waiting to pick up their loved ones, driving to the airport. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, imagine, because obviously the tragedy hits you. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened to so and so. What am I going to do? This is terrible. But there almost must be a part of you like, this has to be a dream. This can't really have happened.
Right. Yeah.
Like this, I was just driving to pick up so and so, and this actually happened. I can't imagine. I thank God I can't imagine.
There was a local station that, and they're facing a lot of criticism for it, but they talked to a man who said he was he was hoping at the moment that they were pulling his wife from the river, and he had a text message from 20 minutes before landing saying, "Going to be landing very shortly," and yikes.
Man,
just terrible. So in anything that we learn that is newsworthy, we'll let you know during the Power Trip Morning Show. But that is the latest out of Washington D.C. And my goodness, man, I mean, I don't even have any words that can do any justice. I just can't even imagine. So there you go. Power Trip Morning Show with the news. And we can come back and actually do some sports if you guys would like, and get back to being happy and fun and go lucky.
Sure, lots of stuff to discuss, and Sauce can lead us through that after this on The Fan.
You know what happy go lucky means, Cory? I wonder what that means. Go lucky. I got to look the etymology.
It's weird because my poker strategy is the opposite. I'm sad and unlucky. So
But you know what? That makes me happy.
So you're happy.
I'm happy that you're not lucky.
So you're not happy go lucky. You're happy get unlucky. No, because you're not getting unlucky. You want me to get unlucky.
Happy no lucky?
That's just bad English.
That sounds like something I yell when you're rolling the dice.
Man.
Welcome back to Ben Leber's Power Trip Morning Show.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're welcome, yeah. Brought to you by Ben Leber.
Can I read this real quick? I guess my mic was off. Get ready, Minnesota comedy sensation Daniel Tosh bringing his hilarious stand-up show to the Twin Cities. Don't miss your chance to see him live on June 19th at the State Theater. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Full details now at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
He's funny. You guys like Tosh?
Yeah.
Who? Daniel Tosh?
Yeah.
I love him.
I know.
He's great.
Love that
He's
show.
super funny. Yeah.
Obviously, like intentionally offensive, right?
my
he
God, yeah.
leans in and goes as hard as he can. And he's made me laugh a billion times.
He's one of those comedians that just seems naturally funny. You know, some comedians kind of put on an act and it's a performance, and I get it. You know, a lot of actors are like that. He seems like if you just hung out with him, he would just be naturally quick and funny and ridiculous.
Probably. What is he up to lately outside of just stand-up? Does he have a show of any kind? I know Tosh.0 is
I think that's it now.
not a thing, but does he have anything else?
I think that's it.
6'3".
Seems like a tall guy.
He does seem like a tall guy.
Yeah, that's what he's up to.
Yeah.
His stand-up comedy is great, though. It is so offensive, but it is so good. It's good. It's real good. That's just my opinion. Man, don't hold it against me.
Man, that's
strong.
offensive.
Opinion. Yeah, strong opinion.
Sauce.
Somebody online says that we should get Parker Fox and Mike Grimm to be involved in the 3-point shot contest we're going to do. I agree. Mm-hmm. We should get them involved because I'm going to sink some threes.
I bet Grimmer's got a J.
I'm going to sink so many threes. You guys are going to think it's 1990.
Shoot the basket.
Betty Sauce.
Boy, maybe it's a competition between you and Grimmer.
Grimmer probably whip that ass.
Well, it sounds like Sauce just wants Chris and Zach to compete, and whoever hits one first wins a parade.
We're going to have a parade?
Sure.
Man.
To celebrate, because he doesn't think it's possible.
Not this month.
You get 2, Zach?
Matuzak?
Mike Matuzak?
John?
Let me ask the
John,
Chris Hockey
sorry.
3-point contest question a little bit differently, Sauce.
Yes, sir.
If I said he only gets 3 shots, would you be confident that he goes 0 for 3?
Yes.
What if I said 5 shots?
He'd get 0.
10?
0.
15?
Maybe 1.
So I guess that's kind of what I'm asking. What's the most amount of shots you are confident he would not hit one in? 12?
Yeah,
13?
probably 12. Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
Because, I would take that bet as well, that he hits one of the first 12.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. I'm on the over 1.5 out of 25. And by definition, then I think he's going to get one of the first 12 as well.
Okay.
And then one on the back 12.5.
I feel like this is a really easy setup with Williams Arena. If we get Parker Fox and
Steve
go for basketball involved, this would be a really easy setup.
What if we get some groups with some money and some potential NIL money, and maybe Ben Johnson shows up and you have a real tryout? You have eligibility left.
I'll give it a shot.
What if he goes 25 for 25 and the Gophers give you a deal?
Do I have to stay for the whole game?
No, this is not a game.
Okay.
just
if I
open
make
gym.
the squad, though.
You made the team, Hawk.
Well, if you make the team, do you have to
Even if
stay
you
for
get
the whole
signed,
game?
you get to pick the half that you want to play.
Because I want to beat traffic.
Yeah, but what if we're down 3 and we need you? That's why they signed you.
Right.
Yeah. It's like when What's-His-Face calls the guy in Major League about managing Cleveland. I don't know.
Great story.
It's the same thing. He doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to. Okay.
Duval.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip. Presented by All Around, your TimberTech deck building contractor.
Let's go all around. Thank you. I can't do it.
Zacho, your Minnesota Wild beat the Maple Leafs 3-1. They are now 30, 17, and 4. They are back at it tonight against Montreal at 6 p.m. That is right here on the Fan. They got an empty net goal to make it 3-1.
I'll make it quick. We'll talk goaltending.
Were you praying just now?
Gustafsson, 31 saves in the win. He had back-to-back wins for the Wild. They suffered 4 straight losses in his previous 5 starts. Good for Gus. That's win number 20 for Gus. And now Marc-Andre Fleury tonight will play his final game in his home province, Montreal Canadiens, hosting your Minnesota Wild right here on the Fan.
That's hockey, I think.
Condoms.
And Gus was the catalyst of the game, by the way.
Thanks, Catalyst.
Pat.
Yeah, he was wilding yesterday on Barrera.
Condoms.
Yep, Wild News presented by CatalystSupplyCo.com. Thanks, Catalyst.
Yeah, thank you.
The Wolves beat the Suns 121-113 for their 4th straight win. Ant
really hard carrot.
had 33. Julius had 28. They battle the terrible
oranges.
Jazz tonight at 8. The Wolves are 7.5-point favorites.
All Jazz is terrible. Oh, right, Ben?
Agreed.
I'm with Ben.
The worst type of music.
What about the smooth type?
What about
No, all of it.
Jazz or listening to that new song?
I'd probably listen to the new song. It has a better beat.
No.
It has a better beat.
No.
Man.
Think about it. If New Orleans jazz is bad, think of how bad the Utah jazz is. Ick.
They're both schizophrenic.
But what
Not
about
good.
the sweetest taboo?
Oh, great song.
Such a good song.
Oh.
All time. I was just listening to it this
horny.
morning.
No, I'm not talking about the song. I'm just asking if he likes the sweetest taboo.
Yeah, you know it. He's asking for Tommy. Tommy's wondering why you aren't in Lutzen. But yeah, the Wolves are now 26-21, Maxo.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. It seems like they're trending upwards. They're playing better as a team. Anthony Edwards is scoring 30 plus. I mean, it seems like every night lately in the month of January. And I think the key here is that Jaden McDaniels has been a lot more involved in the offense. So defenses have to start respecting him a little bit more. J-Mac, as we all call him here in the Twin Cities. And Julius Randle has been a lot more consistent. I got to give him credit. He's had a pretty damn good January, not just scoring-wise, but every couple games you see him have 6, 7, 8, 9 assists. And I think that's really key because obviously he's a ball-dominant kind of guy. He has to have the ball in his hands, but obviously we know he's not the most efficient scorer. So if we can get him in sort of like a point forward type position where he's facilitating the offense, I think that could unlock a whole different level for this offense. So it's been awesome.
Who do they have tonight?
The Jazz?
Everything is Utah. Everything is chaos.
What do you think of Adam Silver saying he would possibly think of moving it to 10-minute quarters?
I saw that.
How many are they now?
12.
I think it's interesting because I guess the NBA, he said, is the only entity pretty much in the world that uses 12-minute quarters as opposed to 10-minute quarters. And if it saves guys some injuries and stuff, who cares? You know?
I'd be all for that.
Yeah, why not? And
It's not going to happen.
He also
would like 2-minute quarters.
The Players Association probably won't let it happen.
Yeah,
But
he admitted he's in the minority.
Yeah.
That he knows that it's going to get crapped on. Even Michael Malone of the Nuggets said, quote, "I hope we don't go to 10-minute quarters. I hope we don't put in a 4-point line. I hope we don't become Barnum and Bailey."
Michael, go back to Cheers.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, that's a little extreme. You're not becoming a circus if you shorten the game.
Right.
I mean, adding 4 points.
The 4-point line is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but shortening
of
the
course.
game is,
But here's why I think it's a massive, overreaction.
Okay.
So this season, NBA games run 2 hours and 16 minutes. Is anybody complaining about 2 hours and 16 minutes?
I mean,
I guess
you're
you're
not.
right.
In
You're right.
the last 15 seasons, the average game time was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we are right on pace with the last 15 years. Who's complaining about 216? If it's 208, are we going to care? It's the same thing.
I got to say
that's a
this,
great
Corey,
point.
and I don't think I've ever said this. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
The,
a good point.
When I went to that terrible basketball game in
Detroit.
And then got sick.
and got terrible sick, I thought, man, this game went by quickly. Thank the Lord.
Yeah. These are not 4-hour college football games going like, man, we're just not keeping them for 4 hours. 216? That's like the ideal time.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
not bad.
Thanks,
And
cowboy.
think about this. It'd be probably 1:30 or 1:45 if they didn't call so many fouls in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the
golly
game. I mean,
ma.
the last few minutes of game clock.
But that's not going to change. That's almost exactly my point, right? The first 2 minutes of every quarter are not the problem. So if we made it 10 instead of 12,
Yeah.
it's just them jacking up threes. The clock's running the whole time.
Yeah.
It's the final 2 minutes of the half and the final 2 minutes of the fourth.
Awful.
So change that, and the
Change
game
that.
probably
You're
speeds
right.
up a little bit.
Yes.
Plus, how about all the scoring records, the 50-point games? Like, all that stuff would be out the window. It would devastate any possible record keeping. And I know baseball complains about that too with purists and stats. But how about
yeah, damn it, bonus.
78 years of NBA games, and they've all been 12-minute quarters. Why are we changing it now?
So is this all just because the ratings are going down?
No, I just think he said
he was citing the global basketball game that every other entity in the world uses 10-minute quarters. And then he did say modern television habits because he was saying getting it down to 2 hours would be nice. But as you just said, if it's 2 hours and 15, who cares? Nobody's complaining about the length of basketball games. That was a problem in
It's the
baseball.
quality. Yeah.
Yep. But again, the analytics have broken the game because they've realized even if you are a great mid-range jumper team, mathematically it doesn't make sense to shoot them unless you're shooting them at like a ridiculous rate, like 80% plus.
Right.
Otherwise, you should be getting layups or threes.
And the NBA is so bad at marketing their new stars. I mean, we never see Victor Wembanyama on TV. He's having one of the most generational second years of players ever had. We never see him.
I wouldn't recognize him if he was at the mall.
I think you would.
You probably would.
He's 7'4".
He looks like an alien.
Chris, can I give you a little hint in case you ever see him?
Yeah, sure.
That's a huge bitch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, you would probably geek out just like Britney Spears did at, was that Paris? In Vegas?
Yeah. And then, I forgot about that.
I think it was right outside of that
Didn't she get slapped or
restaurant
something
in
like
Paris, if I remember right.
It was Britney Spears.
Yeah,
You're right,
it was Britney,
You're right,
yeah.
you're right. Because they didn't know who she was.
The NBA,
and then
which
she danced with knives.
Yeah, I forgot about
Still creepy. She does that all the time. I fear for her safety. Again, all those people that said free Britney were wrong. Somebody needs to watch over her.
Oh, yeah.
She needs protection from herself.
You misunderstood. She'd been reduced down to the clearance rack.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I'd buy her.
No, I ain't lying.
Yuck.
I'm going to take the $100 I win after Chris hits at least 2 threes.
You're going to win 50.
I'm going to steal Ben's when he's not looking. And then I'm going to offer that to buy Britney Spears.
You're not very
And then protect her.
Ben.
Ben's generous. He just leaves 50
really
on the
generous.
counter, and
Yeah.
I just I'm going to take it when he's not looking.
It just sort of falls out of my pocket sometimes.
Must be nice.
All right.
Sauce, anything else?
Well, the NBA trade deadline is a week from today, right? And I have a question that maybe the three of you can answer.
What about Zach or Chris?
What am I not here?
Zach, although Zach probably would know the answer to this. This is something Zach would
over
know.
Here.
It's about the second apron and all that.
Oh, yeah.
None of us know.
But so here's my question. Is De'Aaron Fox became available, right? Like he plays for Sacramento, he might be available in a trade. On the ESPN trade machine, Julius for De'Aaron Fox works, right? But they're it doesn't work because of the second apron. But then you have a team like Phoenix who has the highest salary in basketball, and they may add Jimmy Butler.
Second apron is what Rosie calls a threesome.
How does any of that work?
I don't know. Nobody listened to a word you said. We all tuned out.
No, I don't. Maxo was listening. He cares.
I don't really know how exactly that would work, but I did see on the Vegas odds the Timberwolves are the third best. They have the third best odds to acquire De'Aaron Fox, and I don't think that Vegas would even float that out there. They don't mess around with stuff like that, so they would have to be away. Yeah.
Do we have Pelissero?
Yeah, we're going to have him, yeah.
Yeah, Vikings news with Tom Pelissero next on The Fan.
Yeah, okay, got it.
On February 6th, for the official unofficial ambassador for Minnesota Golf at 5 Iron's newest location in North Loop from 5 to 7. Check out their simulators where you can play iconic courses, enjoy chef-inspired dishes, craft cocktails, and enter to win great prizes in a Closest to the Pin challenge. RSVP now for this free event at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Now look at this. Now I see Tom Pelissero cruising along in his. I mean, this is unbelievable. What I'm seeing on my StreamYard right now at KFAN.com/watch. Tom is being driven. I mean, this is big time. Is that a limo you're in?
Not a limo, but we are in a car headed to the stadium for the third day of Reese's Senior Bowl practice. Say hello to Charles Davis, Daniel Jeremiah, Rhett Lewis, our intrepid team. We got coverage of practice starting at, I believe, noon Central Time today for about 4 hours. And this is your crew right here. Here's Keely, the driver, too. This is your crew for the Reese's Senior Bowl, Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Central Time on NFL Network.
Hey, Tom, would you tell Daniel Jeremiah right now I'm a huge fan of his mock drafts and all the draft work he does?
Was that it? Was there a second part of that?
No, that was it.
Just wanted me to tell him how much you like.
Yeah,
DJ
just that.
Sauce is a big fan of you and your mock drafts. Just so you know, he appreciates that.
And since we're at it, tell all the
Not
guys.
Sauce Gardner. His name's Meat Sauce. It's a long story.
And since we're at it, tell all the guys that I say hello as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know him.
Yeah, I was
just Ben Leber says hello to everybody, too.
Somebody say something about Ben Leber.
Yeah.
They're drinking their coffee and being cool.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
care.
Tom, what have you learned so far at the Senior Bowl? Who looks good?
Yeah, what about our quarterback?
Well, I would say in terms of just, the offensive and defensive line groups, I mean, these guys know a lot more about it than I do, but those are the strength of the Senior Bowl this year. There's a bunch of edge dudes who are all, physically just standing next to them, very impressive. Guys like Shamar Stewart, Donovan Ezraku from Boston College. There's a really good group down here. The quarterbacks, just based on circumstances, probably the highest profile ones. Dylan Gabriel is down here from Oregon. Jalen Milroe from Alabama is in this game, and Jackson Dart too. So all those guys are, in that mix vying for being the third quarterback behind Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. So we've seen it, from, in recent years, whether it's Bo Nix last year, Justin Herbert, Carson Wentz, even going back to Christian Ponder, there's a lot of proof that, if you have a good week at the Senior Bowl, you play well in the game, it can really help you when it comes to draft time.
Well, it sounds like one of the local guys is crushing it at the Senior Bowl, and that's Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. Also from Pierre, South Dakota, so a shout-out to my South Dakota guy.
All right.
I've heard from so many scouts that Gray Zabel is one of the standouts of this entire event. So, he's a local guy. There's, again, a long history of dudes from those schools that have popped at this event as well. So good for him, man. That's offensive linemen tend to get pushed up through the draft process. He might be one of those guys.
Tom, this is where a lot of the GMs and the coaches all gather. This is another way that they can, talk about things they probably shouldn't be talking about. What are you hearing about the Sam Darnold market at the Senior Bowl and going forward with all these other events?
Well, it's early because we're still in the early portion of the pre-draft process, and there's, all kinds of different scenarios in terms of potential, quarterback trades and who's going to end up, with a need. Certainly, you would anticipate that there's going to be a market for Sam Darnold. It's really going to come down to, as we've been talking about for months, what is that number? Based upon how the season ended, can you get a deal done with Darnold somewhere below the franchise tag number, which is around $40 million, or is somebody going to push that number up? I wouldn't say I've heard anything definitive other than clearly Sam Darnold is the top free agent quarterback because your other options are Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and all those guys from the 2021 draft that have been, didn't end up on the same teams. There's something there with Darnold, but it's a fluid type of a process. That's what I would tell you is we're still pretty early in this in terms of sorting out where that thing lands.
Well, I want to ask you just a non-football question. Mobile, Alabama. Do you have a favorite spot there? Is it good food? Is it good dining? I mean, when you guys are not on the football field, is it kind of a fun place to hang out? Can you give us the deets on Mobile?
Yeah, I mean, the best part about Mobile is basically like everything you need is on one strip. Like there's Water Street, which is where the hotels are. I'm staying in the Player Hotel. And then if you take one turn and every restaurant you would want to go to is there. So I ate at Dumbwaiter last night, which was lovely. Noble South is over there. Winsel's is a classic place. A little farther down. I don't want to walk that far, but that's another place that people frequent. And then, there's a few late night establishments that I won't mention because from what I could tell last night, it was overrun with every draft podcaster in the world. So I don't need even more people showing up to those spots.
What is the update on Brian Flores with the Minnesota Vikings? Because it looks like in terms of head coaching jobs, of course, that we're down to just the Saints, and that one's looks like it's getting narrowed down. There's just no spots for him. And is this one of those situations? I'm not saying it's exactly like Ben Johnson, but is it maybe a good thing that just another cycle went by and there's a better spot down the road for a guy like Flores? Because I don't even know if there were a lot of good options this year for him.
No, I think that's fair. In terms of what jobs were open, you can make the argument that a lot of them were not ideal types of situations for one reason or another. Having said that, I know that Flo wants to be a head coach. He would have liked to, have gotten one in this cycle, but he didn't even get a second interview for any of these jobs. And there's, I think, a lot of different factors that are involved in that. People are still getting, comfortable with certain things. I know that Flo was happy that he at least got to address some of the, the things that are out there about him and, things that have been said by Tua, among others. It was good for him to get in the room, but his full focus, as of a week ago was, hey, I'm going to come back to Minnesota. I'm going to keep, grinding at this thing, do really well and, be in an even better position next year.
Any idea what that's going to cost the Vikings to make that continue?
Well, I mean, top-level defensive coordinators now, coordinators in general are up in the, $3, $4, almost $5 million range. So one of the top guys. Kevin O'Connell's contract was obviously a priority. I would certainly think that, continuing to have Flo part of this, they'll, do whatever they need to do contractually. I mean, most assistant coaches' contracts get extended regularly anyway. They get rolled over. With the top guys, it's a little bit more complicated just because, if they were to play it out, they'd be potentially coveted. And sometimes guys, we just saw with Patrick Graham, who let his deal with the Raiders expire after last season, did not sign an extension. There's yet another new regime there with Pete Carroll, and they value Pat Graham so much that they brought him back and they did a new deal.
All right, Tom, we're starting to cut out a little bit, so we'll let you go. But, dude, you're the best. Appreciate the Uber cam and have fun at the Senior Bowl, dude. No, it's all good. It was awesome. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, buddy. See you later.
Sorry, guys.
No problem.
We'll see you.
See ya. Bye. Thanks to our friends at Bell Bank. Don't forget the Pay It Forward program. You can nominate a charity of your choice by going on KFAN.com, putting in the keyword Bell, nominating a charity, and $1,000 will go to one charity that you chose from our friends at Bell Bank. What a great bunch of people at Bell Bank. Check them out today and put your money there, like Ben and I do. Right,
yeah,
Ben?
just like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
I love my guys at Bell Bank.
Me too.
Especially that Brooks Bollinger. Boy, he's a nice guy.
You do like him.
I haven't seen Brooks in a while.
He looks
good
the same.
dude, man.
He's a great dude.
Great dude.
I like
He
that
looks
guy.
like he could still strap it on.
Whoa.
And put on a helmet, too.
Oh,
He's on his way to Luton with Tommy and Zach.
I mean, is it just me? Isn't that what you think of when you see him?
No.
Okay.
Bill Belichick suggested that the Lombardi Trophy, he kind of said it in passing, he may have been half kidding, but he suggested that the Lombardi Trophy be named after Tom Brady. He said, players win games. You can't win games without good players. I don't care who the coach is. It's impossible. So he's basically saying, why is the Super Bowl title or the Super Bowl championship trophy named after a coach when the players are the ones who actually win them? Ben, your thoughts?
It's not a bad argument. It's not a bad argument at all. But, I mean, I guess Brady is in a category all his own. But there just seems like there's something wrong about that. I don't know.
About changing it?
Yeah, about changing it to a player's name. Like I just can't wrap my head around the Tom. You're going to hoist the Tom Brady
trophy.
Super Bowl trophy.
Like if he was dead, maybe.
Right.
Or if it was 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's got to be like 10 years from now. Yeah.
How about, so Belichick said that Belichick's girlfriend wants to be called the Skibbity Toilet Trophy or the Sigma Trophy.
What's that mean?
The cap trophy. The no cap
trophy.
The new trophy.
Oh, God.
Won that a couple times.
That's what he calls her.
Hawk.
Yeah. I do agree with him, though, that it is about the players more so than the coaches. Only because coaches can call the right. I mean, it probably happens if you ask every coordinator, there's probably 10 plays that are like, no, that's the right call. It's just that these players or this player screwed it up. So conversely, like the players have so much control. So when things go well, yeah, it might be the right play call, but the execution has to be there. The guys have to run it the right way. And so it really comes down to, I think, the players having a bigger impact on the actual outcome of these games. And so I think it's like really humble of him to say, hey, given all the success that we had together, it's more on him than it was on me.
You know, it's weird, though, when you go naming it after a player. What if Mahomes wins his third in a row? And then you're like, well, maybe we should call him.
Well, exactly. It's like, okay, so we change it.
Yeah, right.
We change it until Patrick Mahomes retires, and then he retires with how many Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs, and then 5 years later after his retirement, we have to change that again
to the J.J. McCarthy trophy.
And as we've learned with just statues in general, sometimes you name a statue or something after somebody, then you realize, wow, this is a terrible person.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I had to give back my O.J. Simpson award.
Right, what if Vince Lombardi...
you bought an award?
What if Vince Lombardi was just the worst person, right? Or what if, the Darren Sharper Award gets given out for the best safety in the NFL for a decade straight, and then we're like, oh, boy.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Whoopsies.
The 6 months I worked at Subway when I was a kid, I won multiple Employee of the Month awards.
Yeah, and what was it called?
I can't remember his name.
Bogle?
Thank you.
Yeah. I met him once. He seemed like a nice guy.
Remember saying that?
I think I met him a couple times, actually.
Yeah.
Left a lasting impression on me.
You say that too much.
and I will readily admit, I thought Darren Sharper was a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. How would you know?
You never
know.
truly
I
trust
mean, as
another human being.
a teammate, I mean, he was on a little bit on the arrogant side for sure. But I've met a lot more conceited, arrogant athletes more than him, and I thought that he was a fun guy to play with, and he was good at his job. And then little did you know behind the scenes.
Yeah, right.
So you thinking he was cool or nice is not in any way indicative of your personality. You just read the room wrong. I'm so tired of getting accused of liking Jared Fogle. He seemed nice. I just read the room wrong. I was wrong.
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
The gun was loaded.
It's not like I had heard the accusations and then wanted to form a bond with him. I met him pre-accusations, and he seemed lovely. I was so wrong.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
That really just stops the show.
It really does, yeah.
Sucks.
And same thing with Sauce. He's a great guy. I didn't realize until this show that he likes a minimus in his.
Oh, he's made that abundantly clear.
Yeah. We did a whole podcast on it.
I remember.
What happened to that podcast?
Well, it made too much money, so they shut it down.
Who made too much money off of it?
Us.
He's got a point.
Yeah, we all got boats and
Hose.
beach houses.
Yeah, Hawk gave his
boats
beach
and
house
hoes.
to that one lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
The
needed
Jacksonville Jaguars fan?
Yeah.
Well, she
right.
gave me love. And the crabs.
Yeah.
My God, your mic.
No, actual crabs from the sea.
Yeah, man.
She-
What are you talking about? What is your
Crustaceans.
problem?
Yeah, king crabs.
Goodness sakes, brother.
Oh, sorry, Hawk.
She was getting Alaskan king crabs in Florida.
Yeah, and the Alaskan
They travel.
pipeline.
Yeah, she's probably into that.
The show's probably not going to get any better, but it will continue for the next 1 hour. One more hour to go. Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.